Hello world, Kyle here with NimbleNoggin.io, and today we are going to talk about debugging with breakpoints. Now, if you don't know what a breakpoint is or how to use it in Xcode, that's what we're going to cover here, and you'll see some of the cool things that you can do with them and how they are useful. So a breakpoint in Xcode and iOS is basically a little flag or symbol that you can put in your code just by clicking in this left border bar over here in the editing area. And what happens when you have a breakpoint is that whenever this code is run and the line that the breakpoint on is about to run, then the current debug session that you have going on will pause and you will get a snapshot of the code and the classes and the properties that are at the scope where your current breakpoint is. And that's great to maybe see if there's something fishy going on. You can look through all of the properties and maybe find out what's going on. But you can see here that in the code, I just put down a random breakpoint in the text field view controller on viewDidLoad. So viewDidLoad is called before the view controller appears. The view controller's view appears. So when I do open this text field's view controller, before the view controller actually appears or is opened, we hit this breakpoint, the runtime is paused, and down here next to the console output in this sort of debug area and above the breakpoints navigation menu right here, we can see all of the current objects in the scope of where the breakpoint's at the moment. And all we have access to right now is self, and self is an instance of the NIO text field view controller in the app Swift Components Tour. And these letters and numbers here are sort of like its byte reference, something more complicated that is nothing to worry about right now. So we can twirl that open and see everything we currently have access to at that moment in self, which is an instance again of the NIO text field view controller. And the first object under self is actually still self, but referencing its base class, which right now its base class is NIO base detail view controller. So if we had some public properties in NIO base detail view controller, we would be able to see them right here. And even under that, we can see NIO base details view controller superclass, just UI view controller. And the reasons that these don't have these reference byte bit things here is because they're actually the same instance. All three of these are all talking about self. And under that, we just have any static variables or properties that may or may not have been initialized at this point. And the first four here are the IB outlets that we have referenced here, a label, both text fields, and then a constraint. And then under that, we have a timer, which is an instance of NSTimer, which has not been initialized yet. So it doesn't have this reference here either. And we can see that the current value is nil. And then we have a static array down here of waiting strings, which, although it is not up near the properties here, it is down above a method that is being used later. So that's how you place a breakpoint. To skip over a breakpoint and continue the app how it was, you hit this little play pause button here that says continue program execution. So we'll just hit that, and we're back in the app. It's working as normal. Everything's great. But if we do go back and we open the text fields view controller again, and it creates a brand new instance of this NIO text field view controller, then we will hit viewDidLoad again, even though we have that breakpoint here. And also, there's nothing wrong with using a bunch of breakpoints at once. Maybe you are doing something important or changing a value here, so that we can place this breakpoint right here and stop right before this super viewDidLoad call, and then we can continue program execution, and we'll actually stop at the next breakpoint, which is right before this self-start animating label call, and so on until no breakpoints are hit, and the app is just going to keep going as normal unless we run into another breakpoint, which we do not. So I hope that's just a nice little intro of what a breakpoint is and how to use it. Thanks for watching.